Tibetan Buddhism is a rich culture that emerged from a wide range of practices which include the complete scope of Buddha's teachings from the Hinayana, Mahayana and Vajrayana levels. Different groups belonging to Tibetan Buddhism include Nyingpa, founded by Padmasambhava, Kagyupa, founded by Tilopa, Sakyapa, founded by Gonchok Gyalpo and his son Gungan Nyingpo, and Gelugpa, founded by Tsongkhapa Lobsang Drakpa. The teachings of Tibetan Buddhism puts a focus on the awareness of death and the ephemeral nature of life, leading to diligence in meditation and spiritual practice. Mandalas, prayer flags and thankar paintings are visual imagery used as reminders for practitioners on the path. One of the renowned masters of this religion is Milarepa, magician, yogi, poet, hermit. Many names have been attributed to this most famous figure of Tibetan history. This Himalayan saint lived from 1052 to 1135, and his story of personal redemption has continued to be an inspiration to many generations. Through songs called dohas, Milarepa imparted divine teachings on spiritual devotion and wisdom. Today we present to you an excerpt from the holy text of Tibetan Buddhism with the compilation titled 60 Songs of Milarepa, with songs 13, 22, 23, 33 and 37.
Song 13. Rechungpa, a disciple of Milarepa, after returning from India had contracted the disease of pride, and in various ways Milarepa tried to cure him. As his disciple required food, they went for alms, but were abused by an old woman who declared that she had no food. The next morning they found her dead, and Milarepa said, "Rechungpa, like this woman, every sentient being is destined to die. But seldom do people think of this fact, so they lose many opportunities to practice the Dharma. Both you and I should remember this incident and learn a lesson from it." Whereupon he sang the Song of Transiency and Delusion.
When the transience of life strikes deeply into one's heart, one's thoughts and deeds will naturally accord with Dharma. If repeatedly and continuously one thinks about death, one can easily conquer the demons of laziness. No one knows when death will descend upon him, just as this woman last night. Rechungpa, do not be harsh and listen to your guru. Behold, all manifestations in the outer world are ephemeral like a dream last night. One feels utterly lost in sadness when one thinks of this passing dream. Rechungpa, have you completely wakened from this great puzzlement? Oh, the more I think of this, the more I aspire to Buddha and the Dharma. The pleasure-yearning human body is an ungrateful creditor. Whatever good you do to it, it always plants the seeds of pain. This human body is a bag of filth and dirt. Never be proud of it, Rechungpa, but listen to my song. When I look back at my body, I see it as a mirage city. Though I may sustain it for a while, it is doomed to extinction. When I think of this, my heart is filled with grief. Rechungpa, would you not cut off samsara? Oh, the more I think of this, the more I think of Buddha and the Dharma.
A vicious person can never attain happiness. Errant thoughts are the cause of all regrets. Bad dispositions are the cause of all miseries. Never be voracious, O Richungpa, but listen to my song. When I look back at my clinging mind, it appears like a short-lived sparrow in the woods, homeless and with nowhere to sleep. When I think of this, my heart is filled with grief. Richungpa, will you let yourself indulge in ill will? Oh, the more I think of this, the more I aspire to Buddha and the Dharma. Human life is as precarious as a single slim hair of a horse's tail. Hanging on the verge of breaking, it may be snuffed out at any time, like this old woman was last night. Do not cling to this life, Richungpa, but listen to my song. When I observe inwardly my breathings, I see they are transient, like the fog. They may vanish any moment into naught. When I think of this, my heart is filled with grief. Richungpa, do you not want to conquer that insecurity now? Oh, the more I think of this, the more I aspire to Buddha and the Dharma. To be close to wicked kinsmen only causes hatred. The case of this old woman is a very good lesson. Richungpa, stop your wishful thinking and listen to my song.
When I look at friends and consorts, they appear as passers-by in the bazaar. Meeting with them is only temporary, but separation is forever. When I think of this, my heart is filled with grief. Richungpa, do you not want to cast aside all worldly associations? Oh, the more I think of this, the more I think of Buddha and the Dharma. A rich man seldom enjoys the wealth that he has earned. This is the mockery of karma and samsara. Money and jewels, gained through stinginess and toil, are like this old woman's bag of food. Do not be covetous, Richungpa, but listen to my song. When I look at the fortunes of the rich, they appear to me like honey to the bees. Hard work, serving only for others' enjoyment, is the fruit of their labour. When I think of this, my heart is filled with grief. Richungpa, do you not want to open the treasury within your mind? Oh, the more I think of this, the more I aspire to Buddha and his teachings.
Song 22. Milarepa once took Richungpa to the market of Nyanon in order to further his spirit of renunciation. Many butchers had gathered there. The meat was piled up like walls. Animals' heads were stacked in huge heaps. Skins were scattered over the ground, and blood ran together like water in a pond. In addition, rows of livestock were fastened to the stakes for slaughtering, whereupon, with overwhelming compassion, Milarepa sang,
How pitiful are sentient beings in samsara. Looking upward to the path of liberation, how can one feel aught but sorrow for these sinful men? How foolish and sad it is to indulge in killing, when by good luck and karma one has a human form. How sad it is to do an act that in the end will hurt oneself. How sad it is to build a sinful wall of meat made of one's dying parents' flesh. How sad it is to see meat eaten and blood flowing. How sad it is to know confusions and delusions fill the minds of men. How sad it is to find but vice, not love, in people's hearts. How sad it is to see that blindness veils all men who cherish sinful deeds. Craving causes misery, while worldly deeds bring pain. With this in mind, one feels sorrowful. Thinking thus, one searches for a cure. When I think of those who never take heed for their future lives, but indulge in evil deeds, I feel most disturbed and sad, and deeply fearful for them. Richungpa, seeing all these things, don't you remember holy Dharma? Don't you in samsara lose all heart? rouse the spirit of renunciation. Go, Rachungpa, to the cave to meditate. Heed the bounty of your Guru and avoid all sinful deeds. Casting worldly things aside, stay firm in your practice, keep your good vows, and devote your life to meditation.
Song 23. A very beautiful girl of about 15 years of age, whose name was Bardabom, said to Milarepa, "By merely meeting you, I shall have accumulated a great deal of merit," and begged to be taken as his servant and disciple. Milarepa replied, "If you seriously want to practice the Dharma, you must learn that worldly affairs are your enemies and renounce them." And he sang a song called The 4 Renunciations.
Listen, you fortunate girl, you who have wealth and faith. Future lives last longer than this life. Do you know how to make provision? Giving with niggardly heart, as if feeding a strange watchdog, only brings more harm than good, bringing nothing in return but a vicious bite. Renounce parsimony, now that you know it's evil. Listen, you fortunate girl, we know less of this life than the next one. Have you prepared and lit your lamp? Should it not be ready? Meditate on the great light. If you choose to help an ungrateful foe, you will gain not a friend, but damage. Beware of acting blindly. Beware of this evil and discard it.
Listen, you fortunate girl. Future lives are worse than this life. Have you a guide or escort for your journey? If you have not the right companion, rely on the holy Dharma. Beware of relatives and kinsmen. They hinder and oppose the Dharma. They never help but only harm one. Did you know that your kinsmen are your foes? If this be true, surely you should leave them.
Listen, you fortunate girl, the journey in the future life is more hazardous than this one. Have you prepared a fine horse of perseverance for it? If not, you should strive hard and work with diligence. The excitement of the start will soon diminish. Beware the foe, inertness, which makes one go astray. Of no avail are hurry and excitement, which only harm one. Do you yet know that your enemies are laziness and caprice? If you understand my words, you should cast them both away.
Song 33. The Jetson, or revered, was about to leave Nyanon for other hermitages, but the patrons of that place besought him to stay with the utmost earnestness. The Jetson, or revered, replied, "If I do not die, I shall try to come back to your village. If for some time we cannot see each other, try at times to remember and practice these things." Whereupon he sang,
Alas, how pitiful are worldly things! Like precious jade, they cherish their bodies, yet like ancient trees, they are doomed in the end to fall. Sometimes bridle your wild thoughts and pay heed to the Dharma. Though you gather wealth, as hard as bees collect their honey, the ills that upon you may fall can never be foretold. Sometimes bridle your wild thoughts and pay heed to the Dharma. One may offer to a lama loads of silk for many years, but when an ill fortune descends, like a fading rainbow, one's faith at once dissolves. Sometimes bridle your wild thoughts and pay heed to the Dharma.
Like a pair of mated beasts, lovers live together, but calamity by the wolf's attack may fall on you at any time. Sometimes bridle your wild thoughts and pay heed to the Dharma. You may cherish your dear son, like a hen hatching her egg, but a falling rock may crush it at any time. Sometimes bridle your wild thoughts and pay heed to the Dharma. A face may be as pretty as a flower, yet at any time it can be spoiled by violent hail. Think at times of how this world is sorry, transient and futile.
Though son and mother have affection for each other, when discords arise, like foes they clash and quarrel. Sometimes, towards all sentient beings, you should feel compassion. Basking in the warm sunlight may be pleasant and a comfort, but a storm of woe may rise and choke you at any time. Remember sometimes the deprived, and give alms to those in need. O beloved men and women patrons, for him who cannot practice Dharma, all his life will be meaningless, all his acts wrongdoings.
Song 37. Some demons had come to afflict Milarepa, but after he had sung 2 songs to them, they began to turn towards the Dharma. They said, "We are most grateful for your preaching on the truth of karma. In all frankness, we are of limited intelligence and limitless ignorance. Our minds are steeped in a morass of stubborn habitual thoughts. Pray, therefore, teach us a lesson profound in meaning, great in profit, and simple in comprehension and observation." Milarepa then sang the Song of the 7 Truths.
However beautiful a song's words may be, it is but a tune to those who grasp not the words of truth. If a parable agrees not with the Buddha's teaching, however eloquent it may sound, 'tis but a booming echo. If one does not practice Dharma, however learned in the doctrines one may claim to be, one is only self-deceived. Living in solitude is self-imprisonment, if one practices not the instruction of the oral transmission. Labour on the farm is but self-punishment, if one neglects the teaching of the Buddha. For those who do not guard their morals, prayers are but wishful thinking. For those who do not practice what they preach, oratory is but faithless lying. Wrongdoing shunned, sins of themselves diminish. Good deeds done, and merit will be gained. Remain in solitude and meditate alone. Much talking is of no avail. Follow what I sing and practice Dharma.
We thank you for your presence today for Between Master and Disciples. Please stay tuned for Animal World, Our Co-Inhabitants, up next, right after noteworthy news, here on Supreme Master Television. May your days be graced with love, blessings, and bliss from heaven.